Thank you. Thank you. I know you get nervous when an offering's just been taken and a Baptist preacher walks out with a gun. I know that's a scary experience. We do it every Sunday in Yukon, so I just want you to kind of know how we do things. Now, I'm going to use this in just a moment. It's one of my props, so let me lay it down here. On January the 21st, 1776, a pastor named John Muhlenberg preached in his church in Woodstock, Virginia, from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 8. And it says, there's a time of war and there's a time of peace. Muhlenberg then said, there is a time for all things, a time to preach and a time to pray. But there is also a time to fight, and that time is now. Removing his black clerical robe, he revealed a colonial army colonel's uniform underneath. Just days before, Muhlenberg had been commissioned by General George Washington to recruit a regiment from the Woodstock area. The next day, Muhlenberg led 300 men from his church and the surrounding community, and they formed the 8th Virginia Regiment. He led those men for 7 years as they fought for liberty. By war's end, he had earned the rank of Major General and become one of Washington's most trusted officers. My fellow Oklahomans, we are once again engaged in a war for our liberty. Right now, it is not a war of bullets and bombs, but it is a war of words and wills. But make no mistake, it is a war just the same, a culture war for the soul of America. I am here as one preacher who refuses to stand by while our nation is taken down the road to socialism. Like Muhlenberg, 234 years ago, I have been commissioned tonight to raise a regiment. I am recruiting patriots who are willing to take the fight to the opposition in 2010. Tonight's event marks a turning point in our cause. The Tea Parties that came before us brought us to this very moment. The time has now come to do more, though, than rally together. 2010 must be the year we defeat the tyrants who have ignored our Constitution and insulted our American way of life. 2010 is critical because it could be our last chance, and therefore we must seize it. Like Muhlenberg in 1776, I believe there is a time to fight, and that time, friends, is now. I believe it with all of my heart. For too long, we have sat by hoping that someone else would do something. Like soldiers gone AWOL, many of us have abandoned our posts. Many sat out the 2006 congressional elections thinking that they would teach the Republicans a lesson. Well, what it accomplished was making wide-eyed Nancy Pelosi Speaker of the House and Dirty Harry Reid the Senate Majority Leader. Refusing to show up and speak up when our country is burning up is, in my opinion, dereliction of duty and treason. In the mid-1800s, President Polk said that opposing the war with Mexico was treason. After hearing this, a pastor responded, "Treason is it? If my country is in the wrong and I know it and hold my peace, then I am guilty of treason, moral treason." And I say a hearty amen. I totally agree. Our founders understood this when they wrote the following: "But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security." Do you know where those words are found? They're not found in some Marxist document. They are found in our very own Declaration of Independence. Notice that our founders not only believe that it is our right, it is our responsibility to throw off tyrannical government. Those 56 men pledged their fortunes, their lives, and their sacred honors for liberty. And friends, so should we. We must do the very same thing. You may be asking, well, what can I do? I've heard all of this tonight. So I'm only one person. What can I do? Well, aren't you glad that Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, and Madison didn't think that way? So what can you and I do? Well, let me suggest that there are 4 things that we must do. First of all, we must raise a regiment to re-educate our neighbors about the true history of our nation. You see, we are being lied to by revisionist historians. Let me give you an example. On June the 28th, 2006, then Senator Barack Obama said this: "Whatever we once were, we are no longer a Christian nation, at least not just. We are also a Jewish nation, a Muslim nation, a Buddhist nation, a Hindu nation, a nation of non-believers." Well, certainly all of us accept the fact that Americans hold to numerous faiths and some hold to none. We support the Constitution that gives all of us that right. But Barack Obama's statement is a cleverly crafted lie. It is intended to convince us that religious sentiments are evenly spread across our population and that we have no dominant religious faith. Barack Obama is either completely ignorant of the history and demographics of America, or he's deliberately distorting the facts. Let me illustrate. A recent Pew Forum study reveals today's religious convictions of Americans are broken down like this. 0.4% are Hindu. That's less than 1/2 of 1%. 0.6% are Muslim. 0.7% are Buddhist. 1.7% are Jewish. And notice, 78.4% at least claim affiliation with Christianity. You see, maybe Barack Obama is simply unaware of the words of some of our founders, like Samuel Chase, the signer of the Declaration, who said, "By our form of government, the Christian religion is the established religion." Or maybe he's unfamiliar with the words of John Jay, first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, who said, "Providence has given to our people the choice of their rulers, and it is the duty as well as the privilege and interest of our Christian nation to select and prefer Christians for their rulers." Maybe he's never heard the words of second President of the United States. "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." Maybe he's unaware of James Madison, the chief architect of the Constitution, who said, "We have staked the future of all of our political institutions upon the capacity of each and all of us to govern ourselves according to the Ten Commandments of God."